To appreciate just how serious things are now in Bangladesh, we begin in London. Consider first off the curious tale of what happened to this programme in London, and then what happened to a journalist in Bangladesh who dared to report what happened to us in London. Last year we tried to ask the Labour MP Tulip Siddiq, whose aunt is the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, about enforced disappearances in that country. She declined to answer and instead made hostile comments for which she soon made a full and public apology. We thought that was the end of the matter, and in Britain it was. But in Bangladesh, things have taken a much more repressive turn under the rule of Tulip Siddiq's aunt, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. 2 days later, Mahmoudur Rahman made a speech in Bangladesh. He's a former newspaper editor. He's been imprisoned by the government. His pro-opposition paper was shut down by the government. He recounted accurately Tulip Siddiq's meeting with Channel 4 News, adding, "No journalist in Bangladesh has that kind of courage or backbone. Sheikh Hasina has crushed that backbone. That's the reality." That speech did it. Along with other harsh criticism of the Bangladesh government, within days Mr. Rahman faced 33 criminal cases in 29 different districts, sedition, defamation, and seeking £773 billion in damages. You heard it right, £773 billion. This is today's Bangladesh. There's no suggestion that Tulip Siddiq is in any way connected to this. Indeed, she herself has recently criticised the arrest of another journalist in Bangladesh. A month ago, Mahmoudur Rahman went to court to get bail in one of the cases, and as he left, his car was attacked by government supporters, leaving Mr. Rahman clearly injured by the mob. On the streets this month, AP photographer A.M. Ahad attempts to cover students peacefully demanding better road safety in the capital Dhaka. Groups of pro-government thugs surround and beat him with apparent impunity. Nursing his injuries, he has fled the country and doesn't know when he'll return. The internationally acclaimed photojournalist Shahidul Alam was also attacked during those protests. He's won many global prizes documenting Bangladesh's often turbulent politics. But after that occasion, he'd had enough and went on the Al Jazeera network to say so.
The police specifically asked for help from these armed goons to combat unarmed students demanding safe roads. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Today I was in the street. There are people with machetes in their hands chasing unarmed students, and the police are standing by watching it happen.
You do not say these things in public in today's Bangladesh, and you certainly never, ever say this.
This has been going on for a very, very long time. It's an unelected government, so they do not really have a mandate to rule, but they've been clinging on by brute force. The looting of the banks, the gagging of the media. You mentioned just now that mobile internet is currently switched off. The extrajudicial killings, the disappearances, the need to give protection money at all levels, bribery at all levels, corruption in education. It's a never-ending list.
3 to 4 hours after giving that interview, his home was raided. He's now in prison.
30 plainclothes men arrived at the building where he lives. They introduced themselves as Detective Branch. They held the security guard back. They taped up the CCTV cameras. They took the hard disks out of the CCTV cameras. They then went upstairs and abducted my uncle.
The next day at his court appearance, he shouts, "I was beaten. They washed my blood-stained shirt and made me wear it again."
He was blindfolded, handcuffed, arms behind his back. He was then taken to Detective Branch, and in custody, whilst blindfolded, heavy objects were put on his head. He was punched in the face. He was threatened with waterboarding. They said that they would frame him for trafficking. They said that they would abduct my aunt, his wife. They accused him of being a Mossad agent.
She says the police said, if you sign a statement saying you'll stay quiet, you can go. Shahid al-Alam refused. The Bangladesh authorities deny that he was mistreated in custody.
It's very dangerous for Bangladeshis. I mean, the government appears to be going through people's Facebook accounts. Academics have been told in Bangladesh that they should not be making critical comments about what's going on. There's a whole range of human rights abuses. Journalists are also being attacked. So yeah, this is a very, very bad time in the country.
Campaigning for road safety when you're still at school is hardly the stuff of revolution, but as we've seen, those protests were violently repressed. So too, university students. They want to lift restrictions on civil service jobs. Again, it's hardly sedition, but their leaders are now in hiding. One, however, agreed to speak to us openly, saying the police are torturing their arrested colleagues on remand.
You know that our central leaders, almost 8 central leaders, they have been arrested, and they are taking them in remand also. And the leaders told us that in remand